Hey, welcome back to the show. Today is July 4th, 2017. In the past weeks, we've had news from New 55 coming up with a Kickstarter to improve their product. And also we've had some bad news as for 20x24 Studio, who was supplying them with pods, is no longer going to be supplying. So I left the link on the description below of Bob Crowley talking about it on the large format forum. And I also left a Facebook link to 20x24 Studio, where you will see some people asking about New 55 and how 20x24 actually talked about the fact that, smaller formats would actually work towards a future of instant film. And someone asked if they were competing with New 55, which is the impression we had. Due to the circumstances, they stopped giving them the pods, and they answered that no, they're not going to be, or at least not producing any smaller formats. And the pod issue has been, I think, at least from what I read, a difference between them, 20x24 Studio and New 55. So I hope New 55 can work it out. I know that making pods is not cheap or easy, as they need to make a machine for these pods to have the exact chemistry, pressure, and size for New 55 film, and hopefully there'll be good news in a few weeks. Also, last week I talked about the new Rollei film from Mako Direct, which is the Vario Chrome, which is a slide film with ISO 200 to 400, depending on you were going to scan or project. You could expose it differently and develop it in the same chemistry, E6 chemistry. And they said it was a limited edition, and I wasn't sure, and I asked them, and they've answered that this slide film is not a new slide film produced for them, but it is a big batch they bought from an old manufacturer, and they are slicing it into 35. There's not going to be any 120, no 4x5 or anything like it. And they said they probably have enough to make 2 to 3 runs of 135 film. The price is around 8 to 9 euros, depending on where you are. And basically it's not a new emulsion, it's an old emulsion that they cut down, and there won't be any more. So it's kind of like the Lomography 400 square or something like that. That also was some old stock that they came out now. So no new film. It is a new film, but it's actually an old film. Also from a Kickstarter, we have Cinestill, who had the 800 tungsten 120 film, and they finally released a 50D 120 version. There's been a pre-order, and they will be shipping mid-August. Price is around $11 to $12 in the US, depending on where you are. If you're in Europe, you can get it through Photo Impex, and they've put some results which actually look pretty good. And I got myself some rolls of 50D 120, so hopefully I'll be talking about them a bit more. Also, we have a new black and white film from Zorki, zorkiphoto.co.uk. If you don't know the forum, the blog, it's actually pretty interesting, has nice articles every now and then, news and things like that. And he has come out with an ISO 100 in 135 format, so for your Leica cameras, 35mm cameras. It's going to be ISO 100. It's going to be priced at £4. He's based in the UK. And supposedly it's not a new film. It's some film he's been using and he likes a lot. Considering what it could be, I'm going for it's probably Fomapan 100, but I might be wrong. So if you guys try it out, let me know what you think, and maybe we can find out if it's Fomapan rebranded or a different film. Also, bad news from the SP 2810 Kickstarter tank. This was a Kickstarter for an 8x10 tank that would do 4 sheets of 8x10 with 2 liters approximately. They finalized the Kickstarter earlier, saying they'll come back with a better and improved product for a future Kickstarter, or maybe not even a Kickstarter. Also, a failed crowdfunding campaign, the Woodyman 8x10, they've decided to continue. So there's some pictures. I left the link to their Facebook, and you can check that they're already producing some of their plywood laser cut 8x10s. And if you actually want one, I'm sure you can contact them and they'll produce an 8x10 for you. Well, that's all for this week's news. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have any information, send an email to the email below, and see you next week.